Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. I started a few seconds early, simply because the countdown timer is a little bit out. But anyway, for those of you who are joining us as we speak this afternoon, and let me just zoom in so we can see each other a bit better. There we go. We've got the lovely Joe White on this afternoon, legendary man, which I'm dying to hear a lot more about. We've got the Funky Gibbons, or Muriel Gibbons, on the top right-hand side. And obviously, we're delighted to be with you, for you to be with us on today's live stream. If you could just confirm that the audio stream and video is fine. I know YouTube and Facebook have a slight timing difference between them, but that'd be absolutely fantastic. And welcome, Graham Da Costa. Alex, I think you've just arrived. We'll invite you in just a couple of minutes, so just stay in the stream. That'd be perfect. And yeah, so without further ado, I think we'll get started. So thank you very much for joining in. And what we're plan to do today is to discuss the topic of how to achieve the impossible and make it happen. Okay, and if you want to ask a man who can, then Joe is your man, if I can put it that way. Now, what would be really good is if you could just introduce yourselves into the chat, just share what you're really passionate about. This is more of a personal point of view because we're all driven by a sense of vision and mission, or we should be, and have a bit of a sense of why, and why we do what we do, how we like to make a bit of a difference, and be bold with your questions. It makes a much more fun session if we're being bold with our questions. Now, just a very quick introduction from ourselves. So it just makes a little bit more sense. So who's Business Growth Bureau? We're here for you. We are run for the benefit of our members with support of our members. We also want to democratize wealth, a bit of a long word there, and to make it available for many, not just a few. There's too many large institutions making lots of money out of with what they do, but at the expense of a lot of the smaller individuals and organizations. And we also want to promote business growth with this real sense of social purpose. And a quick intro from myself. I founded Business Growth Bureau about 7-8 years ago, and I 100% believe what I class as the importance of circular relationships. So it's about making sure that everyone you engage with feels a sense that they're winning. It's not a win-lose situation. We want everyone to win out of the relationship. And that includes even people like your prospects, associates, partners, and so on. And of course, your management and your teams. Muriel, do you want to share a little bit about yourself very quickly?
Yes, hello everybody. I've worked with Rupert since the year dot. Like him, we've got very similar passions actually. I love building relationships with people. I love engaging and working with them to help them in any way I can. So you know that's what I enjoy to do.
Lovely, thank you very much. And a very brief introduction in terms of what we're all about. For large organizations, we're here to help you to put in place your optimized systems for business growth, which can cover those main 7 areas that you can see on the screen. For small to medium-sized organizations, we mainly focus on these 4 main areas, which is around brand amplification, helping people to generate more leads, nurture those leads and hot prospects, and turn those into sales opportunities. And that's fundamentally about helping people to bring their sales forward, amplify their brand, and get their time back. We've got a little bit of an announcement at the end, but at this point, what I'd like to do is just introduce Alex, and then we'll come to Joe, our main guest for this afternoon. So Alex, I'm just going to introduce you to the stream. So if technology is working as it should do, bear me a second, and let's go here. There we go. So, right, Alex, welcome. Yeah, good. Great to join us, mate. That's good. So, Alex, you met the wonderful Joe White about 6-9 months ago. Is that right?
Yeah, I was on a pursuit of finding people that were using adversity in life to really kind of step into their own and give back to those around them through their experience. And I came across Joe when he was actually tackling about, I think it was like day 265 of 365 days of action. And his story captivated me from start to finish. And from then on, I'd like to call Joe a close friend. So yeah, Have we introduced Joe yet? Have I missed that?
No, that's going to come into just a second. So, so you went on a bit of a walk with Joe, didn't you? A couple of rambles with Joe, is that right?
Oh, that was April this year. Yeah, that was when he was climbing the height of, I think it was Everest, on a local hill to him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good. Right. So just bear me a second, because I'm having to reintroduce Joe because I think his connection dropped out. Bear me a second. Joe, can you hear us? Okay.
Can you hear? Yeah, I can hear. Good afternoon.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, that got me a little bit nervous about that stage, but we've got you back. Now, what is particularly? We'll come to you in a second, just Joe, in a second moment. But Alex, just tell us what really brought you into Joe. Why did you really sort of warm to Joe in terms of what he was doing?
Yeah, so I think it's quite appropriate that I'm wearing the T-shirt for Mind Charity today. For anybody that's using some form of adversity in their life to empower others, I think how can we encourage them and co-elevate with those people? When we all go through something, it's about taking that experience and sharing it back for people that are either going through something similar or at the start of that particular journey. And for me, the way Joe was using what he'd been through to empower others and the way he still does to today was something that I wanted to be a part of. Right, excellent. And what's that, Alex? What do you mean, what's that? What do you want to be part of? Well, it'd probably be better for Joe to explain what he's into and what he's trying to achieve. All right. Okay. Right. Joe, I think Joe's having some technical challenges. We had to resort to plan B, which was using an iPad, I think, Joe, wasn't it, from a bit earlier on? So I think we might have lost Joe again. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, well, whilst we're just waiting for Joe to come back online, it was not quite gone to plan, this particular part. But Alex, let's come to you just for a moment, actually, and we'll give a chance to Joe just to rejoin. He's coming in right now. So bear me a second. Come on, Joe. Hopefully you'll be with us in just a second. Right. Okay, Joe, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. I'm just having terrible difficulties here. All signals have been shut down. I think it must be doing some power outside. Everything's all right. Gone. It's back though.
Yeah, good. We're back in the game. We're okay. That's good news. All right. Well, so Joe, let's see if we can. I think we've lost our screen share as well. Hang on a moment. There we go. Right, Joe. This is a fantastic picture. Where was this picture taken? I think we lost Joe again. This is, Alex, do you recognise this picture at all? Of interest or not? Absolutely no way. Right. Okay. So obviously it looks pretty impressive. I know that one of his things that Joe wants to do is to do Kilimanjaro. I don't know whether it is around there or not. So let's try and bring Joe in again. Okay, Joe. As a contingency, have you got your mobile phone handy?
I have indeed. Yeah.
Just while I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to jump into the latter part of the section for this afternoon. Joe, we'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes just to get the technology side sorted out. Perhaps leave both connections open. We can then switch between one or the other, if that's okay. Right. So what we'll do then is we'll jump forwards a little bit, in which case it'll save a bit of time later on. And we've got quite a bit to discuss with Joe. For our next session, which we got later on in July, it's on July the 29th, we've got a really interesting gentleman from Malta, actually, and he's involved with forming a college, which is trying to get university status over there. And Philip Lingard is heavily involved with working with students, putting the whole thing together. And he is very much going to be a business school, but also, interesting enough, they're going to be using cryptocurrency as their main currency of exchange through the university wallet. So I think I'll be working in Bitcoin. But he's got some really great insights to share around continual learning, heartfulness, mindfulness, and wellness. I'd also be discussing some of the technological challenges and how that impacts our lives, and around everything to do with systems thinking and why active project management is crucial to running your business. And then just a little bit of a pointer just for yourselves. Again, just giving Joe a minute or two just to get himself sorted out. For those of you who haven't already joined us on our Business Growth Club, and I realise that we're only getting part of the slides, so give me a second, trying to resize this so that, yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here. But the bottom line is, if you want to join us on the Wealth Growth Club or the Business Growth Club, you're welcome to do so. We've already had about 30 or 40 people through this already, Muriel, have we? Something in that range. And people, they seem to be getting a lot out of it. So you can register directly from our website. They're completely free and they last about 90 minutes. And also what we're very keen to do, just to pick up on what we were discussing earlier, is to encourage what we class as a giver's gain mindset, and also to be able to illustrate to people from a personal point of view how they can put in strategies to generate real wealth. There's absolutely no reason why the larger companies or organizations have it all for themselves. So we want to discuss a way that you could do that for yourselves personally. But in particular, we're going to be discussing as well how you can put in place strategies to focus on business growth, which is based around what we class as our business growth time machine and other solutions, plus lots of training, mentoring, and support. And what's more, we can actually we've even found a way of giving you your initial investment back 18 to 24 months later. Now, today is not all about that. We are fundamentally here for you. And do feel we recognize that running a business can be a pretty lonely journey and want to focus on business growth. Now, I think what I'm going to do is at this point, I'm going to try and see where we can bring Joe in again. So let's come back to the slide to do with Joe. And hopefully Joe is now with us. Give me a second. Right. Joe, is Plan C working?
It is indeed. It is
Good.
indeed.
Good. Excellent. Well, Alex, if I could let you very kindly return to either the green room or back to the Facebook feed, and Muriel, I'll see you a bit later on. So let me just change the view here. Maybe a second. And so, Joe, first of all, could you just very kindly just tell us a little bit about yourself and this journey you've been on? Because you've been through some extreme adversity one way or another, haven't you? And that's not stopped you in any shape or form. Can you go back a little bit though and just tell us your background, you know, before you started getting involved with all of these good things? Because you're ex-forces, aren't you? Or still involved with the
work with the PT school since 2000. Down in Bulford here, the offshoots of the PT school, and worked as a civilian instructor. So I was very lucky. I've just been doing PT and teaching adventure training all of my life. So it's been fantastic. Right. So helping out the military, doing all sorts of things with rehabilitation as well.
So were you formerly a soldier yourself?
No. I was originally in as a junior soldier, and then came out through an injury to a shoulder at the time, and then came back, and then just went back as a civilian instructor. So I've had the best of both worlds.
So presumably you've always been very active as well as part of your key part. And what would you say, Joe? We're going to get down to some of these other really nitty-gritty points in a while, but what would you say is a real thing that personally motivates you? Let's take the scenario as it was 3 or 4 years ago before you discovered that you had cancer. What were some of the big things that really motivated you at the time?
I love to help people get fit and just keeping fitness going and getting people outside anyway, and just genuinely getting people outside to do adventure training because they're missing out on so much. So when I found out about the illness afterwards, it just enhanced that tenfold. I'm quite a positive person anyway, and so I just help people along their way.
Yeah. Okay. And if you looked at some of your real motivators or drivers behind that, what would you say is your real sense of why, or passion or interest?
I think people are missing out so much, and they don't believe in themselves enough, as in with doing fitness or doing anything adventurous or just working outside the box just slightly making themselves a little bit nervous, not to frighten themselves, but thinking, oh my God, I can achieve it. It can be many aspects of different achievement, can't it, for everybody?
Yeah. But I think isn't it a lot more than that? Because you obviously care a lot about people and making a difference with everything you do pretty well, don't you?
Yeah, it's just,
You're being a bit modest here.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm modest. I like to help people out. I give people the opportunity and take them to places they haven't been before, whether it be up a mountain, underneath the water, anywhere that they're capable of doing. So in what state, whether they're ill or whether they have mental issues, any problems, anybody can come and take in lots of people.
Okay.
That's
and you, how long ago was it you suddenly discovered you'd got cancer and come about?
July 2014, I was diagnosed with it. And then a year later, I found out I had cancer and had bowel cancer. I went to doctors for just a routine blood test. And they said, because I needed some tablets for a shoulder injury I had. And they said, right, before you do that, Joe, you can have an MOT. I said, okay, brilliant, doctor. Thank you very much. Had a little MOT. A few blood tests were taken. This was on the Monday. Then the Friday, he rang me back. I was in the car traveling to work. And he says, right, I need to see you straight away. I said, oh, okay, great. I said, obviously not good news, is it? What's the worst case scenario? I was expecting him to say an ulcer. He said, bowel cancer. So I nearly crashed the car. But I did ask him, and he didn't tell me. So then it went really, really quickly, and I was fantastic. The NHS, they got me straight in. I was in having tests straight away to find out what it was exactly. Yeah, that was just a guesstimate from the doctor, and then they did find out after numerous little looks with cameras and such. So down the throat with the camera, and I was due to have the camera somewhere else. I didn't bother because they found a big lump, a tumor the size of a tennis ball. Intestine, and it's no one would have known at all if it wasn't for that doctor that just took those blood tests, and all I did feel was a little bit tired. That was it.
Right.
And then a year later, had an operation.
Right, and that's when you actually had that cancer removed at the time. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you had chemo as a consequence of that as well, or before that?
No, I was on chemo. I was on chemo for a year, so chemo tablets for a year to shrink the size of the tumor, and it did shrink the size of the tumor. I was given the opportunity. He says, right, we can take it out right now, but that's very, very invasive, and it's a big operation, and it's harder for you. I know I'd rather wait. Thank you. So it's a lot smaller. So I did, and they got it down to a really small size, and there was also a little tiny bit and a shadow on the liver, which they took away.
Right.
So it was called the Whipple's procedure. So you go into hospital weighing 84 kilos, coming out weighing 73. Hell of a weight loss.
God, yes, and without going on a diet as well. So no, God. But I mean, when you were told that, I'm really surprised the doctor said that to you when you were driving a car, because I think, like you, I probably almost crashed with the car. So sometimes timing is not always very appropriate. They actually choose to tell me things. Slightly smiling, because if you're not, you just go mad, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, when you presumably you obviously got home and you explained to your wife and son, I mean, you must have gone in for a while. You must have been in quite a dark place with it. I know you've got a very positive mindset and you don't allow that to take hold of you, but for a while you must have been in quite a dark place, weren't you, trying to deal with it, emotionally cope with it all. And also your wife, it must have been a real shock for her as well.
Well, I can honestly say my wife is such a powerful, positive person, and she says, you'll be fine. That was her words. That was it. And it's like, I know she sounds emotionless, but she's not. And the boys, they were sad. They hid it quite well. And I think it's the people around you that suffer more than you do yourself. And yes, there were some dark places. And I'm thinking I wouldn't see my boys grow up. I wouldn't see them get married or whatever they wanted to do in life. And all those things do go through your mind, I must admit. Definitely.
Yeah. And what helps you to get through that journey?
I won't allow that to be taken away from me. I just will not allow that to be taken away from me. That's it. And just kept pushing and pushing. And a lot of positive people around me as well. My family just pushed through as well. I think they were more scared of me than bored, I think. So they just keep me pushing, keep me going. Right. So that was excellent.
No, gosh, yeah, that's quite amazing. And I think you said to me, didn't you, when we were speaking by Zoom a couple of weeks ago, that you thought you'd recovered, and you found out you've pretty well got to have chemo for the rest of your life. Is that right? Because it's in your liver, which they're having to manage, I guess, aren't they? So.
So in 2018, I was given the all clear to come off the chemo tablets, and everything was good. And then 6 months before, I had another scan just to recheck. And so in 2019, I went in for, I was impatient. I couldn't wait for the results, and I'm cheeky, so I went into the hospital and saw the consultants because I've known them for years. I've got a couple of minutes, Joe, come in. And I sat down and I had a look, and they went, okay, what chemo tablets have you got left at home? You need to go back on them. That was it. You're back on it. And he said, you'll never, ever come off them again.
Right.
That was it. So there was another shadow in the liver, and it started to grow again. I just missed a cell. That was all. And it starts to grow. It seems like.
Yeah. But somehow through just continual, I mean, you're unbelievable. I must admit, Alex introduced me to you, God, I think it was probably 9 months ago. I started then follow you on Instagram. And I thought, this guy's amazing. So I'm really pleased that Alex did make the introduction, because just following you on your sort of daily actions, it's really, really inspiring. And you've also got a new best mate now, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, this is Bear. Yeah,
Yes.
Bear the Kelpie, the Australian Kelpie. Yeah, he's 14 weeks now, so he'll be coming with me on my future trips.
Right. Yeah. And why is he called Bear, apart from possibly one or two associations?
The reason he was called Bear, when we went to pick the dog, myself and my wife, she got the dog for me, and she said, well, we're not sure whether it's a male or female, which one's going to come to you, so let's pick a name before we get there. And then the person that comes towards them, and so females came and males came, but the male stuck with me, and so the Bear was ready. And appropriately, his colouring, I didn't even know what colouring they were, and he's like black and tan, so perfect.
Yeah. No, and he's 14 months. So
no, 14 weeks.
Only 14 weeks.
Yeah, he's 14 weeks. Yeah.
My God, yeah. But you have to be at that age. They have their limbs and ligaments and muscles are far from developed, aren't they? So I suppose you're having to be remarkably constrained in terms of what you can do with Bear. And I've seen a few pictures where you've had him in a shopping trolley. So,
yeah.
So it's about on different exercises with you. So
yeah, he's in a cart sometimes, and if not, he's carrying. If not, he's in my backpack. And then I do get him to walk a little bit, but obviously I don't want to injure his joints for the future. So he does a few K. Yeah,
no,
he's always with me.
Well, no, I'm sure Bear's a great character. It's clearly the next bit of love of your life after your wife and your lovely children. So
yes,
yeah, exactly. I'm going to pause a second, so I just want to give a few shout outs to people who've joined us on the live stream, and also we're going to get down to all the main 5 points of discussion for today as well. But your journey, your personal journey, is so powerful. I wanted to just discuss with you that background, because people, if they really understand where people are coming from, that's it says an awful lot. So I'll just give a quick shout out to Graham DaCosta. Welcome, Graham. Delighted you've been able to join us today. Renata as well, welcome. Thank you for joining in and hopefully getting lots out of it. And so it sounds like Renata, you've had a bit of an experience as well, which I hadn't realised. So sorry to hear about that. My understanding is you're all okay now, but no doubt you'll tell me afterwards sometimes. The rest of you who are joining us as part of this live stream, do just say hello in the chat, introduce yourselves, and do be bold with your questions, as I say. So just returning to this slide just for a moment. Just wait me a second. So we've got the action man himself just there, and these are the main points that we're going to cover today. And we've already talked about some of this, but clearly that message about cancer not always being a life sentence is very powerful. And we're going to be discussing about this whole area around the great outdoors and good physical, mental health, setting goals and making them public, and also, no matter what life throws at you, keep pushing, don't ever give up. And the 365 days challenge and 1,000 mountains as well, which are some really great points there, which we're going to be discussing as part of today's session. So, Joe, if we sort of return back to this as well, and if we particularly talk about these sort of great outdoors and being good physical and mental health, why do you, apart obviously some obvious things there, but I don't want to be presumptive with any of this. Why is the great outdoors so important in terms of this, and also your mental and physical health? What do people get out of that, would you say?
More so, even more so now with COVID that's just happened and being shut down in their own houses and shut down. Imagine being shut down in a block of flats with children, or even on your own, which is even worse. And just be able to get out in the fresh air. The fresh air is absolutely wonderful with people, and they get to chat. You can chat with somebody that's full of life as well. However down you feel, it's really hard to be down still, isn't it? And that you just want to be, okay, what's this about? Why are you so happy? What's so good about being in the air? And just teaching them about the outside as well, and teaching about where we are, the surroundings are in. Your body wakes up. Absolutely amazing feeling. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're missing out so much.
Yeah, so tying in with that, you'd got some really big plans for the last year, 18 months or so. And obviously then a lot of the COVID unfortunately came along and obviously put a scupper to some of your plans. But could you just share with us what you managed to achieve over the last 18 months, what you originally set out to do, and how you adapted what you were doing to tie in with the restrictions that we were all living in at the time?
Yeah, of course. So I came up with the plan of doing 365 days of action and wanted to raise £365,000. And the whole idea was to go on social media, Old Boys Training, and just have it on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and all of them, and just get as many people and many followers so everyone puts £1 in. But to do that, the whole idea was to walk or run or crawl 8,000 kilometers in distance, climb and scramble 100,000 meters in elevation, and including the 100 best scrambles in the UK, and then also plus Mont Blanc, so climb Mont Blanc and Mount Elbrus and Mont Kilimanjaro. But unfortunately, we didn't get that far with the mountains. We did quite a lot, but we've still got a lot to do. So we ended up doing over 10,000 miles on our feet. Well, nearly 10,000 miles on our feet. Climbed over 140,000 meters in elevation. And we did where Alex joined us on one of them, which we were doing Mount Elbrus, I believe. Climbing up Kiwi Hill, which is 50 meters in elevation and 250 meters in distance. So 500 up and down. So I had to do 367 repetitions of that hill to cover Mont Blanc, Mont Elbrus, and Mont Kilimanjaro. But we still want to get there at the real places. Yeah. So that's what we're after.
So you managed to cover a massive distance, still massive achievements. And was it 365 days in total, or was it, did a lot of things get in the way so you didn't quite make it, as it were, as far as I was concerned?
I had 1 day sick of being just an upset stomach for 1 day. And so I did 367 days to make up for it.
Oh, right.
So every day, every single day, I had to walk 22 kilometers. Walk, crawl, or climb 22 kilometers every day. And to sound 22 kilometers, 13 miles, not very long, but trying to fit it in the day was a bit of a pickle, like sometimes with the weather. But we did it.
Yeah, well done. That's fantastic. God, what determination. Yeah, good. That's really excellent. And you finished that. When did you finish that, roughly?
We finished it literally on the 1st of May this year.
Right.
Finished on the 1st of May. So that one, but we're still going through and we're carrying on. So the next one starts. So the pages are still open, 365 days of action. So we're carrying on to do 1,000 mountains in the UK.
Right, don't say more than that at this point, because I'm going to ask you about that in a minute.
Okay. Right.
just to tease everyone who's on the call today. But,
okay.
No, because I really want to ask you that one, actually, because that's one big hairy goal, which we'll be talking about in a little while. But I mean, that achievement in itself was amazing. And people went on, people could follow you on Instagram. What is your Instagram channel again, Joe?
Old Boys Training.
Right, Old Boys Training. Yes.
Old Boys Training.
Yeah, just follow Joe on his daily exploits, and there's lots of heartwarming moments as well, aren't there? So, so we'll come back to that in just a second. So, actually, I'm trying not to give the game away because, of course, the next point really leads into that. Actually, so we've got. Okay, I'm not going to be able to keep the two separated. Actually, I was trying to be a bit smart then. It's going to work. So if the next point really is about setting yourself goals and making them public, so it's harder to withdraw. Now this next goal about the 1,000 mountains and everything to do with that, just tell us more about that, because I mean the only word. I think there's only one word that can describe it is to me, and that's mad. So, just tell us more. Really keen to know more.
Well, I felt as though we let down. And the original challenge was to get those mountains, and I felt when you say you're going to do something, you've just got to do it, haven't you? Through thick or thin, just get it done. And I thought, what else can we do to add on to make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more adventurous? So we come up with 1,000 mountains. So the 1,000 mountains in the UK. So that in the UK, it equals anything above 600 meters. In Europe, they would just laugh at us, obviously, for the mountains they've got in Europe and the rest of Europe. But we are going to get to some of those in Europe as well. But at the moment, it's got to be covered 1,000 mountains. So I'm giving myself not a time limit, but I'm going to get it done in under 10 years. Under 10 years. Weekends, days off, people can come and join me on different ones. They're very, very welcome. It'll all be announced when it's going to happen, where we're going, what we're doing.
Right.
On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, good. Oh, wow. So how many mountains are there in the UK by the definition you've given us, by the way?
There's over 1,500. And there's still borderline more as well that they call mountains. So that's it. So it's not all phased, but I'm phased.
1,500 in the UK, over 600 meters. Really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I had no idea. Alex, if you're with us still, I'm going to just bring you in on this little part, actually, because I think it'd be quite fun thing to talk about for a second. Alex, you're there. I'm going to just try and bring you in. So just right. If not, here we go. Alex, with your just bring you in briefly for a moment, because you did a very big, hairy, audacious goal. Was it last year or the year before, where you did the 3 peaks? But
that was last year. That was for this charity, for Mind. Shout out to Mind for last year. What date was it? I can't remember. August 8th, I think it was. Yeah.
And there was something a bit different you did about that. Again, another mad goal that you actually had. What did you do different about the 3 peaks?
Oh, I put a 26-kilo tree on my back. Yeah, as you do.
You did cut it in half, though, didn't you? So you were cheating a bit.
Yeah. So I put it. The weight was still 26 kilos, but it wouldn't fit in my bag, and I couldn't carry it like a lumberjack up 3 mountains because I had 3 SAF. I got a couple of friends in the SAS and or Marine, sorry, and they both said to me anything more weight would just be dangerous, and if you carry it, it's suicidal. So they were like, "Yo, cut it in half, put it in the bag, and off you go." Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty mad, I must admit. So, are you going to join Joe on any of his journey over the next?
Well, I got a ride next weekend, which I feel is in preparation for everything Joe's doing. His events are a bit too big for me. They're like more consistent, and it's like I prefer the 24-hour stuff and get it out of the way. Whereas Joe's activities are much bigger than me, so I'd have to build up to him, I think.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so we'll perhaps come back. Joe, Alex, thank you for that. I had to bring you in on that because it's very relevant. So stay good. We'll see you in a minute. Cheers. Right, so let's go back to Joe again. Now, just sort this part here, which I can't quite figure out how to do. Oh, there we go. Excellent. So Joe, that's one hairy, audacious goal. So are you mainly going to be sort of covering the UK this year and then perhaps focusing on other countries after that, mainly because of this COVID scenario that you're having to constrain yourself within?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I won't be able to go to the other parts until at least February, March time next year.
Right.
So I'm going to concentrate on this side. this side of the world this time, definitely. And Alex will be joining. I haven't spoke to him yet, but thank you for that. And he's as mad as me, and he would love to come up the mountains. I know he will. He's just saying that. He's being very modest, and he will be joining me on quite a few. And of course, you're very welcome, Rupert, as well.
I would do. I'm a bit like Mr. Blobby. You'd be able to roll me down the hills, though. That would and the mountains. So, whether I'd bounce so well is another matter. Yeah, that's my attempt of trying to get out of it, which I'm sure that Joe and Alex will not allow that to happen. So
no, we're not. You're definitely enjoying this, yeah. On some of them, you haven't seen Wales. You need to go to Wales and come with us, definitely.
Well, that's true. Yes. So I will tell you something. I've got a fear for heights as well, which is not brilliant if you want to go up a mountain. But I suppose the peak, if there's 600 meters, it's not that tall, but was tall enough, actually, mind you, especially with some of those things that people go up. Yes. So, but no, that's actually fantastic. But you also make. I think you're very good at making your goals public, aren't you? And setting out to achieve those. And you referred to it as being harder to withdraw as a consequence. What are some of the strategies? I mean, at times the weather must have been disgusting outside, or you must have felt like rubbish because all the treatment you'd be going through, and your mind was playing, or perhaps been playing tricks on you, this type of thing. What would you say has been some of the biggest things that have sort of driven you through to achieve what you've been able to achieve over the last year or so? And I'm hoping we haven't lost Joe. We've lost there we go, Joe, we've got you back. I hope. Joe, are you with us? I don't think I want to be wanting to do this by myself. So, Joe, hopefully you'll be back online in just a second. If not, we'll have to... does anyone else want to put themselves forward about any particular challenges or experience they faced? So, Graham, for example, are you a bit of an adventurer behind the scenes as a matter of interest? We got Joe back. So, excellent. Can you hear us, Joe?
I can.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're trying to give me a heart attack, aren't you? So
yes, I do apologise. Yeah.
So it's definitely not a conventional interview, this one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. So, but what's sort of seen you through that part, particularly when you've had those really rubbish days, or you've perhaps just not felt like doing stuff?
I think the most important thing is you've said that you're going to do it, and that's such a powerful thing for you to just say, oh, well, I can't let anyone down. Yourself being first, you don't want to let yourself down, but all the people now, they're relying on you to do this. You've said you're going to do it, and it's such a powerful motivator as well to get you out there, rain or shine. And if you just start laughing, and when it's raining, it's miserable. I don't know what it is about the rain. It just makes me chuckle. It's horrible weather, and you're thinking, oh, crikey, I'm the only person out here. I'm absolutely mad. And you're on your own, and there's no one else about because it's hideous weather. And it's just fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah. Well,
that's the motivation. You've told people you're going to do it.
And how much of the time are you going to take Bear with you? When he's a bit older, that's when he's grown up a little bit more. You're going to be able to take Joe on quite a few of these jaunts, would you say, overall, or is it going to be a bit difficult?
No, he'd come on every one of them. He'd come on every one. Yeah, whether he's being carried as a youngster or up, he'd be in the backpack. He'd do all them all. Even the scrambles when we're roped in. Yeah. He'd come up. Yeah, we already found out some harnesses for him, so it's great.
Right. I heard as well that last year as well. You've got to know the is it the Wiltshire? Do they call it the Downs? I'm not sure. Wiltshire Plains. Was it where you were having to do loops because you weren't allowed to travel because of COVID?
Yes.
Was it
Salisbury Plain? Salisbury
Plain. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Salisbury Plain.
What is a round trip of Salisbury Plain worth distance-wise? And how long did it take you?
Probably about 70 miles.
70 miles. So you perhaps do that over 2 or 3 days then, broadly speaking.
Yeah, you could do. But there's so many different routes that you can go. It's a vast area. It is a vast area. It does keep you going. I know it quite well. Because of COVID.
Yeah. I suppose you went past, did you get past Stonehenge a few times, or have I got my geography completely wrong?
Yeah, Stonehenge.
Yeah.
No, Stonehenge is about 3 miles away, that's all.
Right. Yeah. So that's very spectacular, especially in the morning, first thing in the morning or last thing before sunset, isn't it? So you get some really spectacular, and especially when the mist is going over the fields, and it's very atmospheric and really sort of drives you through. I'd imagine some of the good experience you have as part.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good.
It is fantastic.
So,
and you never know who you're going to meet either.
No. Have you got some rather extreme examples you've met of people who've been quite interesting?
Yeah, they have. There's many people on the tracks. I've met some great guys, some tramps. That they wouldn't be videoed with me though, unfortunately. There are some tramps, and these guys are hardened boys. They really are. And they travel. They take shortcuts through the plain to go to village, and where they stay. These guys are incredible. They've had hard lives. Ex-veterans, a few of them were. So I had a good old chat with them for a few miles, walked with them for a few miles. Absolutely amazing people. And obviously lots of military. Lots of exercises going on all the time. So lots of people.
Yeah, oh, excellent. So that's probably kept you really going, hasn't it? And also you've referred to, basically whatever life throws at you is just keep pushing. Don't ever give up. So when you get these mind games that go on, in your head or something like that, where it keeps on telling you that you just can't achieve what you set out to achieve. What strategy you put in place to be able to manage your mindset? Would you say? Now I know if you as part of the military background, giving up is just not seen as being the done thing, as it were. You just don't give up. There's the solid determination. But, the real strength within you, what's sort of seen you through as part of that? What tips have you got to share around that?
Well, definitely one of the biggest tips I would say is whatever your prognosis and whatever you've got, enjoy the life that you've got left. Make it your decision and how you live it. And many people will fade away when they're given bad notice, and many people could live the months that they've got left. It's not necessarily a death sentence, is it?
No.
Everyone's going to die one day, aren't they? Just enjoy the time that you've got, and I think that's very powerful for it. And just let people enjoy that around you as well. I had a bad day one day traveling in the rain. It was pouring with rain. I was very, very miserable and feeling sorry for myself because of rain, and it was just getting kept wet through. And I heard this tapping behind me. And there's all these sticks, and I was just thinking, oh, for goodness sake, just overtake me. It's a little bit of road. It's just like, obviously it was someone running with sticks. And I looked round. It was a gentleman on a skateboard with no lower body. And he was using his sticks for arms, and just went past me, and he said, just keep going, buddy. Just keep going. And I thought, wow. Oh my God. Yeah. And he looped and looped and looped and looped me and just kept going. And I was with him and kept going. He was just an incredible man.
Right.
Yeah.
That
and
must be
yeah.
Sorry?
That was not just because he's a veteran. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, wow. God, that must have been, first of all, it must have been extremely humbling as well, And did he know that you were actually on that particular part of your journey that day, or was he just happened to be there at that point in time?
He just happened to be there at that time, but he was reading. I had a poncho. There was on the back was 365 days of action. What I was raising it for was for mountain rescue, combat stress, and cancer research. And he was giggling as he went by. He says, "Just keep going." And just that was such a massive boost. And I looked at myself and had a really sharp word with myself. Oh my God, you have got nothing to complain about, have you? Absolutely nothing. Incredible.
Yeah. There are some people I've met from the forces, over a period of time, and this whole respect, honor, integrity parts really sort of comes through, doesn't it? And there's the old Lord we had on a couple of times actually, who's a major adventurer. Actually, if you are thinking of going up Everest, for example, he's been up Everest 5 times. He also knows quite well Bear Grylls as well. So so he also got caught up in the Nepal earthquake in 2015 when he was already 22,000 feet up Everest at the time with his team of other people. So he's just got this amazing determination. I think he's done over 50 expeditions in different shapes or form. So Yeah, but it's a good person to know, actually, and really, really nice person. But he would be, I'm sure, very challenged and impressed by what you've managed to achieve. So that's really good. And you mentioned about so you've covered the sort of 365 days challenge, and also why have you sort of chosen 1,000 mountains? Is it because it's a very nice round number, or is it actually a lot more than that? Would you say?
Oh, I think at the 1,000 mountains, so do 500, do 600, do 700, and I think one of my boys shouted out, "Oh, don't do that, Dad! Why don't you just do 1,000? Just a flyaway comment." I said, "Okay, right, we will do." So we will do 1,000 mountains, and they looked at me and think, "Oh my God, I bet we're going to be involved in that as well," which they will be. Yeah. Be careful what you say. That's all I can say. Yeah. So that's where it came from, really, and just I thought, that's brilliant. I love that. It's a massive amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to get it done.
One ridiculous number, isn't it? So you just. And how old are your boys, by the way? Forgot to ask.
Josh is 27 and Jordan is 25.
Oh, right. Okay. So very much grown ups, aren't they? And no doubt willfully independent. And are they both living at home, or are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, they don't live at home anymore now. Well, the youngest Jordan's just got a house somewhere this week, I think, and he'll be moving out in the next few months. Yeah.
Right.
So his mother's very unhappy that they're both gone.
But so, and of course, if you're doing
they'll be involved in it, most definitely.
Yeah, they don't know it yet, but obviously it sounds like they will be. So that's and also you're a great believer and supporter of 3 major charities, aren't you? And was it Combat Stress, Cancer Research, and Mountain Rescue? Why in particular those 3 charities?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Why in particular?
Well, cancer research, because they don't get a lot of money. It's voluntary, all the stuff that they get. And obviously with COVID and everything else, this is before this. And I wanted to give a little bit back for how they've helped me and the team there, because I'll be with that team for the rest of my life anyway. I feel sorry for them. But with that, the amount of work they do down in Southampton, it's absolutely amazing. So I wanted them to get some money back, and also Combat Stress. I've worked with these guys a lot, these different people, different veterans, and obviously they don't get enough money, and they do help a lot with also stress that they go through, mental issues, and help the family and all the veterans. And Mountain Rescue, because I spend so much time in the mountains when I can up there, and they're all voluntary, and these guys will go out and risk their lives, and they're just incredible people, absolutely incredible people. Amazing. Wow. So that's the reason.
Yeah, good for you. And I think you said you'd already raised quite a bit of money so far. Can you just share a little bit more about your aims as far as that's concerned, and what your, what is your big hairy goal, as it were, in terms of the fundraising side to do with what you're doing at the moment?
So the fundraising is 365,000. We're going to raise that money. We want to get to that big target. Okay. Like we said, we've made it a public announcement, or I've made it a public announcement. We've got to try and get there. It might take us an awful long time, but we will get there eventually. Yeah. And we've raised £12,000 including gift aid so far, still on the page. So we're still going strong. And that's with people where it's been such a hard time for everybody. So this is why we needed the followers, the 365,000, and everyone put a pound in. That's what we were hoping for. And we're still fighting to get that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've actually on Instagram now got a lot of followers on Instagram, haven't you? Isn't it about, how many followers have you got on Instagram at the moment, would you say?
I think it's about 1,500. 1,500.
Right, 1,500. And you've got also a Facebook page, and you're on YouTube as well, aren't you? So,
and Twitter.
Yeah, good. And obviously you've put out probably 2 or 3 Instagram posts a day, don't you? Is that right? Fair?
Yeah, I try to. I've tried to give everyone a little bit of a break while I'm having a bit of a break while I'm training with Bear. So it's just a couple of posts a day, but I just try and keep them going all the time. I follow a lot of people that are doing not just adventurers, but doing all sorts of charity things in sports and all sorts of things. So yeah,
that sounds fantastic. Now, Alex, if you can hear us, I'm going to try and bring you in again in just a second. So if you could just get yourself ready if you're there, and let's try and bring you in. And also we'll come back to you in just a second, Joe, because I want to make sure we cover this part off as well. But Alex,
okay.
Let me just change the screen a little bit so we can, we're not zoomed in totally, so we only half your face, as it were. So you've got quite a big aim as well, haven't you, in the next couple of weeks? And so you're raising money for a charity yourself at this point, aren't you? And as part of your big cycle challenge, is that right?
Yeah, I've called it 186 in me, and it's next weekend. It's the longest cycle I'm ever going to do, which is 168 miles in one go. But it's actually for a charity called Breast Cancer Now. Through personal experience within my family and a few of the women that I've met along the way throughout my life, it's a topic I feel that we should all kind of be aware of. Even men can suffer with breast cancer as much as women. I didn't realize this until I was taking on this challenge. So it's something to all be aware of. And I think I mentioned this to Joe before, but working and spending my time around people like Joe, it raises awareness of we can all suffer with this, and you never know what somebody's going through. So it's how can we all do our part each week, each month, each day to give back to those that sometimes need it a bit more than we do.
Yeah. Good for you. And when is that, Alex?
That event's next weekend, dude. So I should probably get training at some point. I should probably try and get on the bike and make sure it still works. But
I've seen you on Strava. I think Strava a few times, isn't it? You've been putting some routes in there. So
I've got 100. I've got 100K this weekend, which I'll be trying to bash out, and then just stretch and recovery, service the bike, getting it ready for next Saturday. Hopefully the weather looks after me. Otherwise, it's going to be a grueling. Just 186 miles in pouring rain is going to suck, but.
No, good. Well, I'm sure Joe will have lots of sympathy for you, of course, but you'll just tell you to get back on his bike again.
Well, Joe, it's a complete wrong end of the country, but if you're bored next Saturday and you want to come and do a stint with us or do the 186 with us, mate, you're welcome to step on in.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. I do appreciate that.
I'll pass this time, man. I'll pass, but next time, let me know. So next time you go out, I'll come.
Go on, Joe. You were asking Alex a question, I think.
Yes, it was just saying that's incredible, mate. You will do this. You will smash this bike ride. I just know you will. The type of person you are, brilliant. You're absolutely excellent. Where do we put our money in?
I'll send you the. It's on my Instagram. It's literally just the just giving normal thing, and it's just hashtag 186 and me. I did 136 last year without training. It took me 8 hours, so it was a long old day. So I think this time round is going to be about 11 hours in the saddle. But I think we'll do it. It's just going to be a long day.
Yeah, Alex, just shout out your Instagram handle, and also if you remember the URL, shout it out, because Muriel, are you able to make a note and put it in the chat if you can keep it saying. So what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, so it's just Alex_Smith_photos with an S on the end. And then in there is actually in the bio, you'll see it's just, I think it's just, I'll just read it to you. It'll be so much easier.
Tell you what, mate, if you, just so we can keep this flowing, just put it in the feed and you will pick up that way. So Joe, sorry, Alex, let's go back to Joe again and we'll call it then a wrap in about 2 or 3 minutes. So, excellent. Thank you very much for that, Alex. So that's good. So Joe, let's change the view so we can see you properly. There we go. That's a bit better. Now, I wanted to also just give you a chance really to talk about this whole fundraising part of it, because I've actually got a slide on this which bring it up. And Muriel, you've got a URL for that as well, haven't you? Which you'll be able to put in the feed, I believe. So just bear me a second while I go forward to the right slide. So if give me a second. Here we go. Yeah. So hopefully it's not very well proportioned. I'm sorry about this. We seem to have got a slight problem with the display today as well. But that's the Just Giving page, and that's also the URL below. And this is part of your basically your aim, really, isn't it? As part of the Thousand Mountains part of it. Have you set a deadline when you reach that funding target, Joe, as a matter of interest, as a case in point, or is I know obviously you can't specify when your 1,000 are going to be done.
it's going to be open. It's not. It's going to be. If I can get it done quicker than the amount of in a few years, that would be absolutely amazing. That's what I'm aiming to do. Realistically, I've given all the other people that want to come and join me on different things. They said it in 10 years, but I know I won't be able to wait that long.
No,
so I want to get it done.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Now, what I'm going to do as well is I want to just give Mira, obviously, you may want to just join in here as well. And also, Alex, you may want to rejoin as well in just a second. But these, I'm not seeing very clearly on my side. Hopefully, it's much clearer on your side, Mira, and everyone else. But you've got, obviously, Joe's contact details there as well. And it's allboystraining.com is the website. And also you've got allboystraining@gmail.com is the email address. And if you want to obviously contact me or Muriel, our details are there, and Joe's phone number there as well. And Joe, you're quite happy for us to put that in the chat as well, are you? Your phone number?
Definitely. Yeah, please contact me. Any questions you want to come and help? Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, let's just come back to everyone now. So see if we can grapple with the technology. So we've got Alex and Muriel. Muriel's with us already. Good. So any questions from anyone? Everyone's been quite quiet today, apart from Renata and Graham. But just want to say a very big thank you for joining us today. Do feel free to join in. We've moved to more of a monthly format with these live streams now. So the next one is on July the 29th, because we're now running these growth clubs instead. So actually, Alex, I think you put in the private chats. Is it in the feed there, Muriel?
Yeah, I've posted it in the feed.
Oh, you have. Okay, and also the page for Joe as well is there as well.
Yeah, it's in there as well.
Good. Right. Well, I think we're pretty well done. I just want to make sure I've not missed anyone out. I think what I'd like to say is a very big thank you to Joe. You've been a wonderful guest. I'm not surprised because obviously I was speaking with you a couple of weeks ago. Was really inspiring. Alex, you inspire me because you're just mad as a hatter. I'm sure you take it as a compliment. But you know your ambitions and goals to do with raising money for charities is a good one. And I know you 100% believe in the power of fitness in terms of working with the mind as well, don't you? In terms of your achievements. So, so Joe and Alex, thank you very much. Mira, have you got any sort of thoughts you'd like to share today?
No, they both make me feel a bit guilty about going on my exercise bike in the morning. I think, oh no, I can't be bothered today.
All right. Yeah, so, a very big thank you, Joe and Alex and Mira, of course, for your
thanks for setting it up, Rupert. Thanks for joining, Mira.
Yeah, my pleasure. We'll speak with you next week. Take care, guys, and thank you very much for joining us today. So,
thank you very much.
Bye.
See you later. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.